What's up, guys? Yeah, it's been a while. It's been about a week and a half since I last posted anything. I just got back from nationals, and I did get top 16, and this is supposed to be like a congratulatory video where I talk about my achievements, but it isn't that. So if you wanna learn more, just keep watching. I did top 16 and nationals. I got the 2 round bye from Pasadena regionals back then, where I top 32'd as Ivankov. I went undefeated in Swiss, so 10-0, and then on to day 2 in my top 64. I went 2-0 against Asakamir, and then on to the top 32. I went 2-0 against Kevin Zhao, who's currently ranked #1 at Limitless, also Asakamir, and then in the top 16, I went 0-2 against Enel. Under a lot of unfortunate circumstances. If you want to check Twitter, I posted about what happened there. Basically got a game loss for a random card appearing in my Dawn deck, which kind of ended my run. But I did do it all with this leader right here, Sakazuki. I'm gonna be honest, guys. This video, it's gonna be me breaking down the deck, but also me just talking to you guys about why I believe that I was the best player in that tournament, why I feel like I have a lot to work on and a lot to improve, and that I truly believe that now I can be the best player in North America and in the world, and I'm not there yet, and I need to do a lot of growing and as a player, as a competitor, in order to get there. But up until the top 16, from back-to-back events, the LA Regionals 3-on-3, which had all the best players there because of the Zero Luffy prize, and then all the way at Nationals, I went a record 20-0, so 20 wins, 0 losses until the top 16, where I got my 2 losses. So right now, I have a pretty good win record on Sakazuki, and I think it's because I understand a lot about the deck, especially in the mirror. I believe that I'm unmatched in that category. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the event first, right? First off, I think Bandai Fest was a huge success. I know you guys heard a lot on the internet about how there's all these delays, and that everyone got repaired, and that it was all these technical difficulties. And yes, absolutely, that was a crap show. And I'm pretty sure Play TCG also wished that it would be better. A lot of it had to do with the Best Coast pairing app just not working very well. But all in all, I think it really opened my eyes to how great Bandai is as a company, or at least how far they've come, right? This wasn't just a One Piece tournament. This was an entire Bandai Fest. So there was One Piece, there was Dragon Ball, there was Union Arena, and it was such a crazy experience seeing like 2,000, 2,500 players on top of like double the amount of spectators. So at any given time, between 5 to 10,000 people in the convention center, and everyone's lining up, everyone's exciting, everyone's taking pictures at all the exhibits. It was just a wild time, and in my eyes, it was a smashing success. I hope Bandai keeps doing this. I hope they keep growing and expanding the game and bringing more people into our really, really amazing and fun community. I'm gonna let you guys know, like, I come from Pokemon, or at least just not competitively, but the streamer side, and I can say like One Piece is like the most wholesome community ever. Like, my local community as well has just welcomed me with open arms, and it's been so fun. But back to the event. Yeah, so day 1 was just Swiss. It was 10 rounds. We started, I think, we came to the arena at like 8 a.m. and then it didn't really start until I would say like 1 p.m. and then we went all the way to midnight. And so like I played a lot of really, really good players there. I'll just let you guys know my matchups. So I had 3 Sakazuki mirrors, 2 of which I went second and 1 of which I went first. I had 2 NLs, 2 Katakuris, and an RP Luffy rush deck. And I think notable names, I would say like Cody, who top 8, who finished top 8 at Sakazuki. I was fortunate enough to play him and come out on top. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, everyone in the second half of my games all had invites. I would say actually a majority of the players I played against. And then on to day two, a lot of familiar names. I think Will to Win, obviously Jackson, Jonas, even Nikki. Like, what I can say is that, like, if you're a good player, this is something that's been in my head. If you're a good player, you can consistently top at big events, at events where the competition is the fiercest. I know that One Piece has a lot of, you know, randomness and RNG, but if you prepare yourself as best as you can, you read the meta correctly, and you do everything it takes to win, I think that more often than not, you will come out at least with a top 32 finish at regionals. Nationals is a little bit tougher, so I'd say that that's still up for grabs. But um, people ask me like what my hardest matchup was. Honestly, in this event, I think I figured out a lot of things. One is, I think my theory on Sakazuki in the mirror is absolutely correct. I had zero problems playing against other mirrors. I think that, you know, I also figured out something with NL, a line where you can consistently win even if NL pulls off the correct triggers, and a lot of it has to do with the deck tech choicing, and I'm gonna, you know, talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, right now is a great time to jump right into the deck profile. But before I do that, I do want to say shout out to the Bay Area folks and my team, Team Yatai Subs, or just, you know, TeamPDC in general. I have a group of teammates that I playtest with, that I study with, that I work with, and one of them, David Zhang, also got top 64, so congratulations to him. But there were many more people on my team that really just needed one more round. They were all X2 bubbling into the 64. So I guarantee you, if we played one more round, half of them would make it into the top 64. Our team is awesome. Thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate you guys. And drinks on me next time, right? But yeah, let's dive right into. Oh yeah, before this, yeah. So obviously, I do have to shout out. We do have a Patreon. I will be doing Sakazuki coaching, but I do encourage you guys to sign up for our Patreon, because all these next events we will be studying and preparing for. You know, for the Uta event that's coming up today, you know, we play tested it, took down some notes, and a lot of people that are in our Patreon are getting that advantage. So, you know, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you there. But deck profile, it's on me. Let's do it. So, Sakazuki, right? Everyone thinks Sakazuki is a blue-black leader, but it's really not. He is actually really not, right? Let me go focus this really quick. The way I play Sakazuki, I play it as like sort of a red deck. It's an aggressive red deck that, you know, beats down your opponent while it has a lot of board control. So, you know, everyone's like, oh, let me try to play Kaido, right? Let me build up my resources and, you know, out resource you. And while that is true, right, your one card is worth more than their one card. That doesn't mean you can't play aggressively. That doesn't mean you can't deny Kaido. That doesn't mean you can't, you know, do everything under the sun. This is a tier 0 deck, and the world is your oyster, right? So, for starters, let's go with the, you know, this is a Navy deck, so we got 4 brand new searchers. We've got 8k 2k counters, 8 2k counters. So the reason why we have 8 2k counters instead of the 9 or 10 is because, you know, we've extensively play tested, you know, exactly how many counters is correct for this deck. And to be honest, you don't need that many, right? Your ability, your leader ability, as innately being able to cycle through your deck once per turn, allows you to filter through all these 2k counters. You will never not have enough 2k counters in your hand, because even if you do dump them early on, you can still recycle them later with Rebecca, right? So if you ever need 2k counters, you can always pull them from the trash. So you don't need 9. Like, more often than not, if you get 9 or 10, you start seeing them too much in your hand, and you want your other resources. Sakazuki is a very resource intense and heavy deck. you absolutely need one of each of all your pieces, right? You can't have too many Rebeccas, you can't have too many Hinas, you can't have too many Luccis or Houndblazes. You need a little bit of everything, and so 8 2K counters is exactly enough for you to see it, and also for it to not get in your way. So next up is our Admiral counts, right? We have 3 Hinas, 2 Kuzans, and 4 Borsalinos. So the reason why like I have these numbers, right, is because back in the LA 3-on-3, I played 2 Hinas, and I think that was a good number, but once you get to that 3 Hina mark, there's about an 88% chance, give or take, that you'll see it in your first turn or two, not including cycles, so it's closer to 100%, right? So going first, you absolutely need a brand new or a Hina. And so yeah, I mean, this literally, like, you're going to have to go first as Sakazuki at some point, and so, you know, playing these 3 Hinas basically gives you that really good early game. The reason why you choose Hina over Ulti too is because Ulti is unplayable in a lot of matchups. In NL, they can just Gedatsu it away. In the mirror, they can basically pop it for free. Hina is a card that, you know, can be played early game, and also as, you know, a second or tertiary option in the later stage of the game, because you can always draw a free card with it, right? It's a free body on board. Attach 1 Dawn to just swing at life. It's a pretty good resource. Then we have 2 Kuzans. So a lot of people are running 3 Kuzans as a standard, but what I'm seeing is that when I bumped it down to 2 Kuzans, I saw Kuzans all the time, mainly because I can brand new search for it, and I can cycle through my hand, and all I need is 1 Kuzan in my graveyard for me to just play Rebecca and grab it and play it when it's necessary, right? It is a really good turn 2 play, but more often than not, 4 Borsalinos will do the trick. You either play Borsalino or Kuzan in your turn 2 Dawn 4, but there are scenarios where Kuzan should not be played, right? If they starve you with NL and then they Gedatsu you the next turn, that's really good for them. So Borsalino is usually just a safer pick, even though there's a lower ceiling. And also, I have 4 Borsalinos, particularly because I was reading the meta. There's just a little bit more red going into the event because the prior week in EU Nationals, red has such a hot showing. You have Zoros, you have Whitebeards, you have the Rush variants of RP Luffy. These are all decks that can crush Sakazuki that have a favorable matchup against you. And so, you know, reducing the 1 Kuzan and adding a Borsalino gives you that extra 1k counter. And, you know, over a 10-11 round event, that actually means something, right? It would make the difference between a game. How many games have you said to yourself, oh, I was just 1 counter away from like denying their last attack? And so, you know, for me, that was just a preemptive, yeah, that was just a meta call, right? And then we have the very standard Hina, Rebecca, Hina, Lucci combo. You get 4 of each. Obviously, super necessary. Yeah, there's not too much to say about it. I think one thing that I will say is that a lot of Sakazuki players feel as if you know, they need to hold resources away from the other Saka, that you need to hold back so that, you know, they can clear your board, but you can still have more resources to play with. But that's just not true, right? On your 8 Dawn turn, your best play is Rebecca, Hina, Lucci. That is why going second Sakazuki is so strong in other matchups, and as well as the mirror. There is nothing that really beats Rebecca, Hina, Lucci. However, there is another option that you can play, which is these 3 7-cost Borsalinos. These Borsalinos are really good to answer your opponent Borsalino, right? If you're going to mirror and you're going second, chances are they will also play a Borsalino on curve on the 7 Dawn. And what you can do is you can easily Great Eruption, swing at life minus the Borsalino, and then play your own Borsalino to bottom deck theirs, right? So 8 Dawn turn, you have 2 options: Rebecca, Hina, Lucci, or the big Borsalino. And, you know, depending on the situation and the context, you know, those matter. And then, you know, I think I'm gonna leave these 4 cards for last, but we're gonna cover these 4 Hound Blazes, 4 Great Eruptions, and 2 Ice Ages. I think 2 Ice Ages, 4, 4, and 2 is the best ratio. I think that this was proven over in Japan as well as Thailand and Singapore, and basically all the Eastern region have perfected this ratio. 2 Ice Ages is enough for you to see so that you can play against yellow, basically minusing their high cost characters and being able to pop them in range, right? Great Eruptions allow you to filter and cycle through your deck, similar to Sakazuki's leader ability, as well as putting stuff within range. And Houndblaze is the reason why I call this a red deck, red Sakazuki, instead of blue black, typically a control deck, is because Houndblaze allows you to board clear, but mainly just aggressively swinging at your opponent, right? Chances are they're not going to counter out of an 8k swing, and so it makes sense that Sakazuki is aggressive. But the last 4 cards, we have 2 Mancheries, and I think the most important card in this deck, or at least in this meta right now, is the 2 Sabos. If you guys know me or have played against me, you know that I'm really high on this card. I think it's one of the most broken cards in the game. Sabo allows your entire board to be indestructible, un-KOable for at least 1 turn. So which means you're getting away. This is not able to be targeted by Amaru. It can't be Thunderbolted. Your cards can't be Thunderbolted. It's a 6k body as well as a 1k counter, so you can always dump it early on and then recycle it later when you need it. It's just a really, really strong power play against the mirror, against yellow, and honestly against pretty much every deck out there. You can pair it with, you can do Hina, Sabo, Houndblaze. You can play that Kuzan and Sabo, which makes your Kuzan indestructible. Very, very tough combo to deal with. So I think part of the mastery of Sakazuki is really getting to understand how to play Sabo correctly. So the last thing I want to cover is, why are you not playing Kaido? Right? A lot of top players, a lot of players that have a lot of winning deck lists played Sabo, but I can tell you that out of the 10 mirror games in my 2 event career playing Sakazuki, or at least up until nationals, right? I have never had a opportunity for my opponent to play Kaido on me, right? The way that you play this deck should be played aggressively. If you play aggressively, if you play the right way, Kaido can never be played at any point in the game, right? If you set up a board and they play Kaido, you answer with 8-8-9 swing, right? And that essentially either takes them off the game, or they have to dump every single card that they have in their hand to deal with it. So yeah, I don't think Kaido's the answer. I'm very strong on that, and congratulations to honestly, this sounds like a little bit arrogant of me, but yeah, that doesn't discount all the winners and everyone who got into the top 8 and the top 4 and the top 1. Jonas and Jackson are the goats of NA, and they're undisputedly, undoubtedly, the best from our region. And I personally, I have lots to work on, and I realized in this event that skill is not the entire part of the game. You need a lot of preparation as a competitor. Long events that drag out through 12 hours, 13, 14 hours, you really need to have the mental fortitude and the ability to keep up and be sharp throughout the event. So I learned a lot. Day 1, the reason why I did so well is because the event got delayed and I was able to eat a lot of food, right? I ate chicken tenders, which was white meat, which wasn't too heavy. I also got to drink coffee, and I stayed hydrated throughout the event. So throughout those 12 hours, my body was in shape. And then day 2, I forgot to eat, and I kept telling myself, oh, 1 more round and then I'll eat, right? And in the top 16, what I felt was kind of like a sugar crash, as well as just like my stomach was just bothering me. And I think a lot of those led to a lot of mistakes. Not being familiar with the format, the top cut format, where you have to play a top 64 or you have to play a best of 3 in under 60 minutes. And what that usually means is that you play a 30-minute game, see how it goes, and then you have to play a much quicker game 2, where the quicker you are, the more mistakes you make. And then by the time you get to game 3, it's usually overtime, and so you don't have too much time to win the game. Especially as Sakazuki, you're a 4-life leader, and you're also in a disadvantage, right? So because you're gonna draw cards from your deck. So all in all, yeah, congratulations to the winners. I'm gonna finish off with this, guys. Like, the road is not over. I think at this point I can at least, I don't have the right to say that I'm one of the best players in the world. That's definitely not true, but I think I can claim that I'm one of the best players in North America, and I'd like the opportunity to prove that. So the next few months are mine for the team, right? I'll be attending regionals, I'll be doing as many competitions as I can, and I think my next step is to win a Treasure Cup originals, first place or second place, but preferably first, and prove that I'm consistently one of the best, or if not the best, in North America. So far in my career, I think I'm 4 out of 5. My first event ever was back in November, Treasure Cup on Ace, where I went 7-2, and I got 18th place. And then my next event was Pasadena, I think in October, where I went top 32. I went 8-2 as Ivankov, and then I did online Treasure Cup, where I scrubbed out 1 wins, 2 loss as Rob Lucci. And after that, I did the LA 3-on-3, where I went undefeated, but my team went 4th place, which, out of the best competitors, it's still awesome. And here I got top 16 overall record, 14 wins, 2 losses, and yeah, I promise you guys, anyone who's following TeamPDC, following me or my team, I promise you guys, this isn't it over, and this is just the beginning. So I am on the road. At some point, I will be the best player, and give myself the opportunity to compete against the world's best. And that's something that's a dream for me. That's my dream, and I hope you guys will follow me along with it in that journey. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say anymore, but look forward to more content. We're gonna be doing a lot of deck profiles. We're gonna be play testing a lot of decks. Sakazuki, I'm not tied to Sakazuki. I believe that any deck that we play, we'll master together. So come along on that journey. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.